That is a concern dividing lawmakers on the Hill. Today, Congress focused on potentially renewing one of the most controversial government spy tools in the country. It's called Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, also known as FISA. Many call this database the crown jewel of our nation's surveillance programs. Some call it an invasion of privacy. Law allows the government to surveil foreigners living overseas, but with the surveillance tool, our government can sweep up the communications of American citizens. On April 19th, Section 702 expires, so Congress has 9 days to renew the program. The term FISA, by the way, might sound familiar to you because in 2019, the Justice Department Inspector General admitted that the DOJ lacked probable cause to surveil former Trump campaign aide Carter Page in at least 2 of 4 warrant applications. The Inspector General admitted, quote, "We identified at least 17 significant errors or omissions in the Carter Page FISA applications," end quote. Those applications were granted by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Those warrants fed into the year-long and now debunked Russiagate scandal known as the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation. The Durham report, which was the product of special counsel investigation into the origins of the alleged and then disproven Trump-Russia link, concluded that the FBI launched the 2016 investigation without, quote, any actual evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia. What's more, last year, unsealed court documents revealed a shock number, and that is that over the course of several years, the FBI improperly conducted 278,000 warrantless searches on U.S. citizens. Earlier today, 19 House Republicans joined Democrats to block a plan that would change the section of the law. So it is back to the drawing board. Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, joins us. Good evening, sir. And this law, in many ways, has been very protective of the American people and our national security, but you've also got the controversy.
Yeah, exactly. And the 702 program, Greta, which is what's up for reauthorization, that's fine. It allows our government to go surveil foreigners. God bless them. Go do that. Find out what the bad guys are up to. But when they do that, when all these foreigners are surveilling, they inevitably, as you said, they sweep up Americans' communications as well. And then what happens is they go search the American's communication. They use that American's name or their phone number or their email address, and they go look in this, what I call this haystack, this giant haystack of information. And all we're saying is if you're going to search based on the American's name, phone number, email, you're going to do that search on this database, go get a warrant. Because this is the same FBI that 278,000 times didn't follow their own rules when they were searching this database on Americans. And now we expect them to follow the new rules? No, the way it works in our great country is if the executive branch is going to search Americans, you got to go to a separate and equal branch of the government, the judicial branch, and you get a probable cause warrant. You know that, everyone knows that, but somehow they think they can do this in a different fashion.
All right, they go to this FISA court, though, and I even have some question about this FISA court, because they act in secret, and there's no appeal from there, I don't think. I mean, I don't know where you go from there. What about the FISA court? Is there any sort of provision made in the Reauthorization Act that in some way gives more protection to the American people, even from the FISA court?
No, good point. There's 2 different interests here. There's 702 program and the abuses there, and then there were also abuses at the court itself, specifically the ones you cited where they spied on President Trump's campaign. They took false information to the court itself. The court granted a warrant, then re-upped that warrant, and they did all kinds of things where they spied on, as I said, President Trump's 2016 campaign. So yeah, we have put in some reform measures there. We got an amici process there. We have sort of an advocate there looking at things. There's enhanced penalties. There's more reports. There's more audits. All those are good. But in the whole scheme of things, without the warrant requirement on the other program, we think there's the potential for what we already know, 278,000 times they searched Americans without following the rules that they were supposed to. So we're saying go get a warrant if you're going to search America.
Well, you know, I look at that, and I also look at the letter today that you sent to the Justice Department, your committee, because back in December you said, when are you going to come in? This is to FBI Director Wray and to the Attorney General for your annual oversight. And the first time, according to this letter, you contacted them in December. And you contacted them several times since, and they basically said, we'll get back to you, we'll get back to you, get back to you. They won't give you a date, and you have oversight responsibilities. They want all these powers and these warrants, but I mean, at least, you know, you ought to be able to bring them in and ask them questions about it.
That happens every year on Capitol Hill. the committee of jurisdiction, that agency comes in and you question the head of that agency. In this case, it's the FBI and, of course, the Justice Department, the Attorney General. So we want to get that scheduled. We want to have that hearing. And remember, in the big picture here, this is the FBI who spied on President Trump's campaign. This is the FBI that raided his home. This is the FBI that said parents at school board meetings need to be investigated. This is the FBI that said pro-life Catholics are extremists. And maybe most importantly, this is the FBI who retaliated against whistleblowers who came to our committee and told us about those other issues. So we want them to come in for questioning, as well as all the other things we've sent them, information we want, subpoenas we've sent them, documents we've requested. We want that to happen. But yeah, we're going to push hard to make sure they come in for their annual, what always happens on Capitol Hill, their annual trek to in front of Congress.
But it's also the same FBI, and I thank you. I thank your committee. The same FBI that won't answer questions is what they were doing in Aruba in 2010 between May 10th and May 21st. And meanwhile, Iran Vandersloot on the 14th slipped their 24/7 surveillance phone off and killed again in Peru. I submitted a FOIA request, and they denied my FOIA request, so I'm appreciative because your committee now is asking them for the documents. Maybe you'll have better luck than I will.
Well, let's hope so. And you know, I don't ever like to preview what we may ask or may not ask when they come in, but maybe there'll be a question about that issue. Who knows? I always say everything's on the table when it comes in what we may ask about. And since we've already sent them a letter requesting the information you just talked about, that may be appropriate for someone to ask a question about it.
Or maybe they'll surprise. Maybe they'll answer. Maybe they'll give you the documents you're asking for.
Maybe.
Good luck. And maybe you have better luck than I do. Chairman Jim Jordan, thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.